Madam President.
Senator from New Jersey.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise today to tell the stories of the nearly 2 million New Jerseyans who rely on Medicaid for their critical care. I do this because their care is at risk. I do this because the care of more than 72 million Americans across our country enrolled in Medicaid is at risk. They are at risk because Republicans in the House and the Senate have chosen to take away their care so that Elon Musk and the very richest Americans can pay a little less in taxes. That is the choice that they have thrust upon the American people. It's a choice that I don't believe they truly understand. So I'd like to take some of my time today on the floor to explain what happens when we choose Elon Musk's well-being over the people we've sworn to serve. To truly understand this, you need to understand that for tens of millions of Americans, Medicaid is their lifeline from the womb to their final years. In New Jersey, nearly 1 out of 3 births is covered by Medicaid. But even before that birth takes place, mothers receive prenatal care covered by Medicaid. That means for millions of parents across the country, the first images they see of their child in those early ultrasounds are because of Medicaid. It means that prenatal vitamins that provide the folic acid necessary to ensure proper development are because of Medicaid. It means that if there is a complication in pregnancy, that those parents can focus on their health and the health of their unborn child, not whether or not they'll be able to cover the costs of their care. That is because of Medicaid. So when Republicans are saying we need to cut Medicaid, remember that it's Elon Musk who wins and those expecting parents who lose. When those children are born into the world, tens of millions rely on Medicaid. Nationally, about 40% of children are enrolled in Medicaid or CHIP. In New Jersey, 1/3 of children, 1 in 3 kids in my state are enrolled in Medicaid. Now, as a father of a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, I can tell you that the most important thing is knowing that your kids are healthy. There are a lot of things that are outside of your control as a parent. You can do everything right, but sometimes you just need help. Kids get sick, and having that assurance that they can get the care that they need is an important thing. When you take away Medicaid, you're not just taking away, you're taking away the peace of mind that parents deserve. You're taking away the ability for parents to look their kids in the eye and say, it's going to be okay. I wanted to share with you 2 stories that have stuck with me. I heard from Nicole, a mother from New Jersey who has a developmentally disabled son, Jordan. Jordan is 24. His mother said that Medicaid cut would be, quote, catastrophic. She said that the care she receives from Medicaid is vitally important. That sense of importance and urgency I heard from Nicole, I just saw echoed from Jamie from Hazlitt. Jamie's son, David, was born paralyzed, nonverbal, and he's relying on a feeding tube. Jamie told reporters that one of David's medications can cost up to $1,000 a month. She said that if Republicans are successful in cutting Medicaid, quote, we would have to choose, are we going to eat, pay the bills, or keep him alive? She said, quote, it's a life or death situation. So when Republicans are talking about cutting Medicaid to hand tax cuts to the wealthiest Americans, the choice they are making is to leave people like Nicole and Jordan, like Jamie and David, behind. At some point, our children grow up and leave. But even then, so many across this country rely on Medicaid for their basic care. In New Jersey, 1 in 7 adults between the ages of 19 and 64 are covered by Medicaid. So when we look at the choice ahead of us between care and tax cuts for the super rich, I want you to think about Caroline from Mount Holly. Caroline called my office asking that I oppose this budget plan. When she outlined her reason for not cutting Medicaid, she spoke in the clearest possible terms. She said, quote, I will die if there are cuts to Medicaid. Caroline is disabled. Her daughter takes care of her through the managed long-term services and support program. She ended her message by saying, please, I need help. A lot of us need your help. These are the people that need help, not Elon Musk, not the billionaires. It's like people like Caroline from Hackettstown. Caroline called my office because her brother is on Medicaid. He's scheduled to get heart surgery in the next couple of months, something that is scary enough when you got the uncertainty of healthcare. But Caroline doesn't have that if her brother's Medicaid is cut. She said, I'm really scared for him. I'm really scared for my parents who are about to retire. I'm scared for myself, someone who also has multiple health care issues and is trying to keep down a full-time job despite it all. These are the people that need help. Our neighbors who sometimes need the help most are those who are disabled. In New Jersey, 1 out of every 3 working-age adults with a disability is on Medicaid. Just last month, I invited Kevin Nunez, a disabled New Jerseyan, an advocate for his community, down to the Capitol. Kevin relies on Medicaid for his care, his caregiver, his basic quality of life. I brought him to the Capitol because I wanted Donald Trump to have to face someone whose health care he was threatening to take away. But it wasn't just Kevin there at the Capitol. We saw his caregiver, Edna, there. The work she does every day is truly incredible. We should support our caregivers, should honor their service, and cutting the funding that allows them to do their job is not the way to do that. Kevin is one of more than 15.5 million people across America with a disability who is covered by Medicaid. He's one of approximately 4.5 million people who use Medicaid for home care workers like Edna. The choice we are facing is abandoning those Americans like Kevin and Edna who just need basic care, or giving another tax cut to those at the very top. For me, that's not a choice. Finally, as we go through adulthood and age, Medicaid becomes more important than ever. Seniors across our nation are relying on Medicaid for the care that they need to live. 60% of nursing home residents in New Jersey use Medicaid to pay for care. When seniors are on a fixed income, like so many of them are, Medicaid can be the difference between life or death. Annie, a teacher in New Jersey, called my office recently. Her mother is on Medicaid, 71 years old, recently had hip surgery. She has no other income than her Social Security and asked that we do everything we can to make sure her Medicaid isn't cut. As someone who is not just a father of 2 young kids, but as a caretaker of an older parent, it weighs on me. And I understand the challenges that are there. Knowing that you have to do everything you can to make sure that the people you love have the care that they need. Life is hard enough. Care is hard enough. The point of Medicaid, the point of government is to make it a little easier, a little more bearable. So when Republicans come to the floor with a budget that threatens to cut Medicaid so they can give tax cuts and tax breaks to the ultra-rich, the choice they're putting before us is making your lives worse to make their lives better. It's making your health care worse to make their bank accounts bigger. It's making your future more uncertain to make their futures brighter. That can't be an acceptable choice. It's not one we have to make. We can reject this budget resolution and save Medicaid, save health care. We can reject this budget resolution and choose to support that expecting mother who just wants to give birth to a healthy child. We can reject this budget resolution and choose to support that child as they grow. We can reject this budget resolution and choose to support our neighbors who work hard but just need that little bit of help to stay healthy and achieve the American dream. And finally, we can reject this budget resolution and choose to support our seniors who we owe the best care to them in their golden years. This is a moment to show the 2 million New Jerseyans on Medicaid, the nearly 80 million Americans on Medicaid, and every other American across this country that we choose their well-being over the wealth and power of those who already have plenty. Let's reject this budget resolution and do the right thing for them. Thank you, and I yield back.
Senator from Kansas.